Well, yeah, maybe that.
Alright, Shalom Akim, back once again. So like the video, I had to cut the video short because I had to do something. But just want to finish up on the topic I was speaking about how it's good to observe time, but a fool will not observe time, and how you're not supposed to be partial in your speech. So I was reading Sirach 18 verse 27. A wise man will fare in everything, and in the day of sinning he will be aware of offence, but a fool will not observe time. So that's how you can discern a fool. A fool will not observe time. He'll just be, or she'll just be doing things according to their own will and not observing time, because to everything there is a time and a season. Pertaining to Ecclesiastes, the third chapter. Let's get it. Bear with me. So we're going to Ecclesiastes, the third chapter, starting from verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep, a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Forgive me, it's a bit loud out here, Salakia. It says a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time of war and a time of peace. Right? And here's the Salakia, it's loud. Right, Salakia, it's a bit loud out here. Let me read that one again, because that's where the point is. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 7. A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Right? Read that again. A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. So there's a time for everything. And when you are speaking, as I said, you're not supposed to be partial in your speech. If you've got something to say, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. You can't be trying to half step, and be talking out the side of your neck, not coming straight. Because we're supposed to be straight and direct. We're supposed to be men. And as I said, if you're a man of integrity, these things should be simple to you. But to a person who lacks integrity, that's going to be their nature, to do them kind of things which are contrary to what the scripture ordains us to do. Now I want to bring out another precept. Bear with me, I'm just going to get another precept here. Right, where are we at? If I can find it. Yeah, you can go to Proverbs 27 verse 2. Right, Proverbs 27 verse 2 says, let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. Because some men, or some women, particularly women actually, they love to speak vanity, right? Words which have no meaning. It's easy to speak good of yourself and inflate your ego and puff up your chest like you're something, but that doesn't really mean anything. However, if you don't praise yourself out of your own mouth and you allow other people to do it, then it tends to have more weight. Because in order for someone to praise you, someone must have seen something that is praiseworthy about you. You know what I'm saying? And the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. And who maketh man's mouth to speak? You know what I'm saying? So if you was to get praise from men, really you should let it come from the Most High. Let him exhort you in his time. But if you're trying to magnify and exhort yourself in your own time, like saying, oh, I'm so this and I never do this and I never do that, and talking all kinds of shit, then you're only speaking vanity. And vanity is like it's something that's not going to last. Whereas if you earn a good report, Whereas if you, Slakia, whereas if you earn a good report by showing yourself to be a man of high integrity, and therefore thus you gain a good reputation, that type of honor lasts much longer and is more genuine. It's actually something that's tangible. When you're talking good of yourself, it's not tangible because you're just praising yourself out your own mouth. And what in a multitude of a fool's mouth is full of words, man. It ain't hard to speak. A fool's mouth is full of words. That's what I'm saying, man. The Most High is in the heaven and you're on the earth, so therefore let your words be few. Let me get that precept. Bear with me. It's like I'm just pulling up a precept here. Yes, this is Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 2. Right, Ecclesiastes 5 verse 2 says, "Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High, for the Most High is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be few." Let me repeat that. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 2. "Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. For the Most High is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be few." Now, what does it also say about the words of the wise being like choice silver? Let me get it. Right, Proverbs 10 and 20. Right, so it says, "The tongue of the just is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is of little worth." Let me read that again. Proverbs 10 and 20. "The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is a little worth." Right? So what is choice silver? Silver is something that is precious, right? Silver is a precious metal, like gold or gold, silver, bronze, platinum. These are precious metals, right? So if something is as choice silver, it means that it's very precious. So it says the tongue of the just, meaning the tongue of an upright man, one of the hopeful elect. The tongue of that man is like choice silver. That means that his words are precious. You know what I mean? He's not just running off at the mouth, talking beyond his measure. His words are like choice silver. But it says the heart of the wicked is little worth. So what is little worth? Like I suppose, like the dust on the floor. There's much dust on the floor, but it's of little worth. It's just dust on the floor. It's not like choice silver. So if your mind, meaning your heart, is wicked, and you're running off with your mouth, and your words are just like your words are of little worth, man. So how do you make something more valuable? Well, to make it more precious. So how do you make something more precious? To make it more scarce. You know what I'm saying? If something is abundant, it's abundant. But if your words are precious and few, and the few words that you do speak have more weight to them than a multitude of madness that someone could speak. For example, you might say one sentence with more wisdom, knowledge, understanding and discernment than a fool might say in an hour of talking. You know what I'm saying? And that's how wise men become regarded as wise men, because their words, though they may be few, they carry a lot of weight. But a fool who has a wicked heart and is just talking just to be talking, well, ultimately their words are of little worth. So really they're not helping themselves, they're actually hindering themselves, because their own tongue becomes their own snare. I've said it before, you can slit your own throat with your own tongue. You can dig your own grave with your own tongue. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, that's where discipline comes in. You know, the scriptures say the most difficult thing for a man to gain rule over is his own tongue. That's roughly paraphrasing. I can't remember where that is in the scriptures, but let me try and find it. Right, let's look for that precept. Yeah. Right, so I've got two good ones here. This is Sirach 19 verse 6. There we go, Sirach 19 verse 6. Right, it says, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil. There's some good precepts here, man. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife. So if you can control your mouth, you're going to live without strife, right? And he that hateth babbling, what is babbling? Just foolish talk, man. He that hateth babbling shall have less evil, right? Reading on. Rehearse not unto another that which is told unto thee, and shall thou fear never the worse, right? So if a man is talking to you in confidence, you should be able to treat that word with confidence. You know, if a man's talking to you one-to-one and he says something to you, it's better to be a brother and listen, if that makes sense. Now, there was a situation that happened some months ago, which I remember, where before the camp, I was waiting for the camp to start, and I got there early, and another guy who was in the camp and is not in the camp anymore came up. I thought to myself, you know what, let me try and make a conversation with this guy, because we're standing there waiting for the other brothers to arrive. And I was talking to this brother in sincerity, and I said something to him which he didn't understand. And the first thing he did was, rather than saying to me, hey, you know what, would you mind clarifying what you said? I don't think I understood that properly. He turned around and he ran and he made a video slandering me and saying things about me which weren't true, because he didn't understand the word which I had said to him. Now, he was in the wrong, and he's no longer around anymore. But the fact of the matter is that if he had have read this precept, he would have understood why that was wrong to do that thing. And I'm not the only person he did that to, but here it is. Sirach 19 verse 7. Rehearse not unto another that which is told unto thee, and thou shalt fare never the worse. Whether it be friend or foe, talk not of other men's lives. And if thou canst without offence reveal them not. Read that again. Whether it be friend or foe, talk not of other men's lives. And if thou canst without offence reveal them not. For he heard and observed thee, and when the time cometh, he will hate thee. So you don't make friends by doing that. You don't be brotherly by doing that. And if thou hast heard a word, let it die with thee, and be bold, it will not burst thee. But it's a childish thing, like, you know, when you're at primary school and there's always that kid who wants to run around, oh, I'm telling teacher, oh, he did this and he did that, and miss, he did this and he did that, and he said this and he said that. I mean, always want to point the fucking finger, but what do the scriptures say? Understand first, and then rebuke. Let me get that. See, guys just straight up going off, man. Right, Sirach 11 and 7. Let's get this one. Oh, before I get that, let me finish on this because there's more here. Right, it says, if thou hast heard a word, let it die with thee, and be bold, it will not burst thee. A fool travaileth with a word, as a woman in labour of a child. As an arrow that sticketh in a man's thigh, so is a word within a fool's belly. Yep. Admonish a friend, it may be he hath not done it. You see? And if he have done it, that he do it no more. Admonish thy friend, it may be that he hath not said it, and if he have, that he speaketh it not again. Admonish a friend, for many times it is a slander. There you go. And I've said this before, man. You shouldn't be slandering men in this truth. Admonish a friend, for many times it is a slander, and believe not every tale. Right? There is one that slippeth with his speech, but not from his heart. And who is he that have not offended with his tongue? Admonish thy neighbour before thou threaten him, and be not angry, give peace, so give place to the law of the Most High. Right? So that's that about that. The precept I wanted to get is Sirach 11 and verse 7. So let's go there. Sirach 11 verse 7 says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Let me read that again. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. So don't be so quick to jump to conclusions or to say this about this man or that about that man or this woman or that woman or whoever, man. Don't be so quick. You know, sometimes being a good judge is all about being patient and allowing the Most High to reveal things in their due time. Prime example of that is when Yahushua was dealing with Judas. Yahushua knew Judas was a nigger from day dot, but yet Yahushua suffered him 3 years, and not once in those 3 years did Yahushua say to him, oh look, Judas, you done this and you done that and you done this and you done that, because Yahushua knew he had to let things play out. So sometimes trusting in the Spirit is the best thing to do, because all things will be revealed in their due time. And ain't nobody gonna creep up into this truth and get their ass in the chariot who ain't supposed to be there. Because it doesn't work like that. It simply doesn't work like that. So it's best not to be preoccupied on the things which don't matter, because if you spend too much time focusing on things which don't matter, then you're going to lose sight of the things which do matter. And the things which do matter are the prophecies. You know, the main thing is prophecies, feeding, teaching the word, feeding the sheep, and being brotherly. But if you're, if an evil suspicion have overthrown your judgment, then you're off key, you're off balance, and you ain't doing anybody no good, least of all yourself. You know, there you are, falling deeper and deeper into a quagmire of a quagmire of your own creation. But really, it's the Most High created that for you. But your own actions have brought you deeper and deeper into the shit, to the point where you're up to your neck in it, and you can't even see it, man. There you are, your head's about to go under in the metaphorical sea of destruction, and there you are still going on, harping on about the same point. And that's another thing, man. You don't want to be a one-trick pony in this truth. You know, you need to be an all-rounder on all topics. But if you're only ever focusing on one topic, then you're a one-trick pony. So when something else comes along your way, you're not going to be able to deal with it very well. That's why it's good to be well-rounded, man. Thoroughly furnished unto all good works. Let me get that one. I might close out on that. Right. 2 Timothy 3:17. Let's get that here. Right. This is a good chapter overall, but I'll just end out on this because I could go into some other stuff here. Now let me read from verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Let me read that again. Nice and slow. Let it marinate. 2 Timothy 3:16. But, no, not 3:16. 13. 2 Timothy 3:13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of them, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through the faith which is in Hamashiach Yahushua. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and for instruction in righteousness. Here's the point: that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. So in order to be perfect and thoroughly furnished unto all good works, you need to understand all these different principles, man. Because there's more than just one. This truth is just more than one dimensional. And if you're only ever talking about one topic, and that's all you're ever going on about, you're just showing yourself to be a one-trick pony, and that you're not thoroughly furnished unto all good works. You know? So you don't want to be that way, man. Don't want to be that way, man. And if you are being that way, it's time to fix up and change. So Lord willing, that's been an edifying lesson. So lucky the lesson got cut in half. So I hope it all connects together. The fact of the matter is that we're not supposed to be partial when it comes to speaking. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. If you've got something to say, say it. If you've got nothing to say, keep your mouth shut. It's actually better for you to keep your mouth shut than it is to speak, because you've got 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to speak. You know, you should use your ears more than your mouth. Point, yeah? So with that, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great most done it all well. Shalom for now until the next lesson. Abba, Wakam Shalom.